Hello sewing gents, and welcome back to another video. I'm your host, Michelle, and today we're going to sew a table runner. Can you see the beauty, the elegance?
My downstairs neighbors are being very obnoxious and they can probably hear me talking to myself.
What I did was I found this on the internet because I was saying to myself, all these table runners, they're so generic and most of them are just a repeating block anyway. So I just found something kind of neat. I just looked up blocks, free blocks on the internet. And so as you can see, I went with the very traditional colors here, I guess. I don't know. Why would I say that? I'm not sure. Whatever. They all go together and I think it looks pretty good. So I added on this little thin border here and then this bigger border here. This is the back, nice and yellow. Because springtime, guys. This is all about spring. So this is the table runner. And quite frankly, I think it came out pretty good. So this is her. And she measures, well, I never thought about measuring her. 44 inches in imperial and 114 centimeters for you Canadians out there. So how's about we just kind of jump right into this video now and do some sewing, right? What you're going to need for this pattern, and I've got all the math here done, you're going to need 16 of your A's, and these are 3-inch squares. These are going to be your backgrounds. A is your background, and B is your background. So you will need 16 3-inch squares, and you will need 8 4-inch squares. Background aside. Now we're moving on in and I'm going to show you on here. C is your little outer square there. So you're going to want 8 4-inch squares of your C fabric. Over here, the D and the E, that is here. I've kept them both blue. And with the D, you're going to want 8 3.5-inch squares, and with E you will want 3-inch squares, and that is 16 of them, 16 3-inch squares. Now moving on, over here you'll see F and G are the same color. F right here, this is 8 3.5-inch squares, and then with G, this is 8 3-inch by 5.5-inch rectangles. This is available in the description below for you to download so that you too can have a copy of this. I've got this for the border. I'm not exactly sure yet how I will cut this. It might just be 2-inch strips. This will be the backing fabric. And personally, I'm opting to put flannel in between instead of batting. I just personally like the thinness of using flannel, so that's what I'm going to do. And then over here for the binding, I've got this nice yellow as well. In this video, I will be using the Juki HCL F600. Reason for that is because I've got plans right after to make a dress. So we might as well just use this pup. And if anyone's wondering, her name is Bertha because she's thick. This is Big Bertha. I've got my 1/4-inch foot put in here as well. This did not come with the machine. This came with a thing I got a while ago, back when I first got a sewing machine. And I got it from Madame Sew. It came with a whole bunch of these. But, you know, I ended up buying that over there, and that's a high shank machine. So obviously, completely different feet. But now I've got a use. Everything's fine. Everything's being used now. Years later, but here we are. Hello. We are going to be making a lot of half square triangles and flying geese. That is pretty much the building blocks of this block. So let's check out the sewing instructions. We're going to want to take B and D, E and F. So we're just grabbing all of them and throwing lines on the back, it looks like. B, D, E, and F. And as you can see, I multiplied everything by 4 because I'm making 4 blocks. So, and as per usual, I'm using a mechanical pencil to write my lines, to draw my lines. It's pretty simple, just a diagonal line right across the middle there. Don't mind the mess, I'm working on 3 projects right now. Just like that. So go ahead and grab your B squares, your D squares, your E squares, and your F squares, and get them diagonaled. Draw those lines. I've gone ahead and I've added a 1/4 inch line on each side because this foot is a little bit different where it's not exactly clear where the 1/4 inch mark is. So I just did a little bit extra and I'm just following along on the lines here. And I followed the instructions. So this right here, this is B and it is on top of C. B and C are pairs. So take your B and pop it on top of your C, right sides together, and go ahead and sew them up, both sides, 1/4 inch on each side, and then you're going to slice down the middle. I like to chain piece. I just pop that boy right on top, match up the middle lines. Turn it around and do the same thing on the other side. All right, and this is what the pups look like when they're done. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna reduce these to exactly 3.5 inches. So those dog ears are going bye-bye. Next, we're gonna just move on right down the line here. So we got our D squares, that's done. And we are taking our D squares and we're taking the B/C half square triangles, these guys right here, and it looks like we're gonna put them on just like that. And we're gonna do the same thing, 1/4 inch on the side, cut right through the middle, and then that's gonna give you this. And, you know, you pop them together and that's how you get that corner piece right there. Okay, boys, I'm gonna have to trim these down and pop these on top. 3.5 inches. And these are 3.5 inches. So let's trim these down and then we'll go ahead and we'll take our delicious D squares and we will create BCD half square triangles, as the pattern so eloquently puts it. Me personally, I have a 3.5-inch ruler, square. So I just take this bad boy and I pop it right on top. Okay, don't mind the clothes. I'm wearing my pajamas. Had a long day at the office today, so I already took my shower, but it wasn't a hair washing day, so let's just pretend that it looks better than it does, all right? I didn't brush it yet either, so. But we're not here for me. We're here for this guy right here. All right, so we're just gonna throw all this stuff right out. Throw that baby out with the bath water, and we're just gonna pop her right on top. And actually, what it does is it creates the perfect storm. You get rid of the dog ears, no problem. You just take this guy and you shoot it up like this, yoink, and then you yoink it again, and then you want to yoink it thrice. Oh yeah, and then we're yoinking it on a fourth. We want quattro yoinks. And then this is your end product. Do you see him? Do you love him? And, you know, when it comes to this situation here, it looks like what we're gonna do is we're gonna hold this boy this way, and then we're gonna take this boy over here, and we're gonna opposite his ass, okay? So it goes like this, that way, and then we're making sure that this one, well, this is clearly not the right one. Let's pretend we got the right one in the first go. So he's going that way, he's yoinking over there, and we're gonna go ahead and make almost like an X, okay? You pop that boy right on top of him, just like that, right sides together, and you're going the opposite direction. So pay attention, use your eyes, use your noggin, don't get confused. And that's me talking to myself as well, because I am #1 public offender of that. But as you see, it fits perfectly. That's 3.5. And like I said, remember, the guy right here, he's yoinking it that way. And this one over here, he's yoinking it the opposite. And you get right into it and you do it. Okay? So without further ado, I'm gonna sew that guy together. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get all these guys going. I'm gonna get my 1/4-inch lines on there, and I'll show you what to do next after we got that done, all right? So stay tuned. We got these boys over here now. This is the BCD boys, I believe, right? Is that what I told you? And now we gotta take the BC and we gotta take the Fs and do the same thing, trim it down. If you're blessed to have a 3.5-incher, go ahead and slice around until it's perfect. And then you're just gonna do the exact same thing. And as you can see here, so you're just making sure that you're not slicing there, because then, I mean, what was the point? You just ruined everything. So just make sure it's opposite and pop it on and call it a day.
Current events, we're not leaving the house today.
Oh, what would the current events be? Oh, this is the day after. This is the day after they totally got clocked in the convertible.
Once all of those are done, you just want to slice right down the middle. And we'll have ourselves a little gander and see how she came out. Perfect. And I'm going to press the seal and I'm going to press the seam up towards the blue on this one, because this one already has something going on here, so we'll prevent some bulkage and move it up. But you see that? She's here and she's queer. And let's have ourselves a look at the other one with the F squares. How's that for you? Gorgeous. Here I've got my BCD half square triangles, and over here I've got my BCF half square triangles. They have been pressed and they have been trimmed down to a cool, clean 3 inches. Both of these boys are 3 inches. So I'm going to set these aside, and now we're going on to our G and our E. G and E. As you can see here, we are going into the flying geese units. My arch nemesis. I am not a fan. And, you know, if you've never made these before, think of making a little mountain top. That way you know you've got them on right. So you're just gonna grab one of these rectangles and you're going to put your remaining squares directly on top. These are your 3 inchers going right there. You're gonna go zip, and then you're gonna put this guy on after that to the other side, and then zip, 1/4 inch away from that. You're gonna slice, and then you're gonna open that up. I do it one at a time. I don't really think it's possible to do both of these at a time. It just, it would overlap too much. You need to be able to open that guy up. So don't get any ideas out there. It's about getting it right the first time. We want to avoid the seam ripper. That thing scares me every time. Screaming at me like that. Okay, and you're going right on the line this time. Not next to it, you're going right on it. You're just gonna put this guy down. And I'm gonna chain piece all one side, and then I'm gonna flip them around and chain piece the other side after I've trimmed them, of course. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of making these because they never come out all the same, you know. Sometimes I lose the beak, and other times there's plenty of room, and I don't really know. Maybe I should get one of those specialty rulers to make my life easier. FYI, I do know that there are little tricks, you know, 4 at a time flying geese, no waste flying geese, all kinds of tricks out there. But I'm following the pattern to a T because it's just easier for me to do it that way. I do what I'm told and I don't ask questions. Boy, I think, did I? No, I didn't mess up. I thought I made an error there, but then I remembered I can just turn it and make sure that I get the points on the second half. I've got it on there just like that, and I don't waste my time with the rulers and the rotary cutter. I just grab scissors and I make an educated guess, and you know, I trim right down, straight as I can muster. Yep, do that. Open her up, and I think the protocol is you want this going up and away. So now, once you've got that done, you don't need to waste your time ironing. We'll keep that at the end. You take this guy, and you want to make sure, I don't know if you can see the line there, make sure it's pointing inward toward that coveted beak we want. Okay, and there's going to be a little overlap, but that's fine because it creates the optimal optics when it's finished, wenn es fertig ist. So that's what we want. See that? Now do the same thing right on that line, and then you cut it and you open her up, and then you bring her over to your ironing board. You give it a little press, but don't stretch it because it'll be a nightmare. And it'll be wonked, as I like to call it. So just press, literal pressing. We are now at the building stage, And what I think is the easiest thing to do here, just to get it all set up, is have yourself a look at that picture, and you just start piling them on, you know. So you pop that there, you pop this guy here. So here I've got 4, here I've got 4, 4, and 4. And I'm just going to find these guys for the ends because that'll just be a lot easier. And I'm just going to pop these on the sides. Okay, so that would be 2 blocks there. Now we're moving on to 3 blocks and 4 blocks. All right, and then the same thing on the other side. Whoops, what am I doing? There. Okay, and then we're going to take the blue, because I'm using blue on both, so my blues and yellows, or it's a little easier for me to figure that out. There you go. Each one was mirrored, so you'll have one that goes on each one, so don't freak out or anything. That's 3. Yeah, you see this. It looks like a little V. You get your V. And then down here, you're just making sure these guys line up and make your little corner. I'm gonna grab these 2 right here, and I'm gonna put them together, right? And then line them up very carefully. All right, like I really want these guys lined up good. So it's worth taking a little bit of extra time to make sure that everything's looking pristine, and then pin it to avoid shifting. And I'll show you a close-up, but I'm pretty sure you get the gist. See that? It's pretty much completely lined up, and then we're just gonna hope for the best, because sometimes we make the best of intentions and it doesn't always end up that way. I am going to bring these to the iron, and while the iron is doing its heating up thing, because it's not on yet, I'm going to cut 2-inch strips here. I'm trying to think in my head really fast. Maybe I'll do 1.5 inch of this. I might be able to, if I can get like a little flange thing going, I think that would kind of differentiate this color from this, because just have yourself a little gander here. It's just too, I don't know. It's not, I need like a separator. So I'm gonna just do something real small with this, probably 1 inch. And then I'll do 1.5 inch on that. And then the binding will take the rest home. So hopefully that looks good. First things first, I'm just going to, you know, do the usual thing, the right thing, and get all the sides here nice and even. So I'm going to slice and dice that off. There. That's trash. And next, I got to switch it this way so I can properly slice. I wanted what? 2 inches? Did I say 2 inches? Yeah, 2 inches makes sense. I don't know how many I'll need, so I'll just cut a few. Well, I'll just do some math really quick. These are we'll call it 21 inches because I gotta slice this piece off. This. So it's 21 inches, so that means I got 42 inches. So, okay, 42 inches. That's one side. And then 10 inches up. Okay. So I'll do another 2 inches for the other side. Another 2 strips for the other side, I mean. Oh. That's how she's looking, all put together. Next, I'm going to put on this little flange or mini border to kind of define the yellow. I'm gonna pop that on, and I didn't really explain it, but what I did was I just kind of shoved them all together. It made a really long one, and I did the same thing with the secondary border. I just put them all together the same way you'd put together binding. Doing it on the bias or whatever it's called. And for my next trick, I'll be quilting this table runner that I've finally got all sandwiched together. And for that, I'm going to use, believe it or not, Big Bertha. Just because I actually do want to try out the walking foot. I want to see how she does. And you're probably going to see a close-up of my hands. Yes, they're blue, but don't fret. It's just food coloring. I made a cake yesterday with my stepdaughter for my husband, and we were trying to make it all blue so it would be like a pond so we could have a fish sticking out of it. And I got this, I don't know what it is, professional grade teal stuff I had left over, and man, it stains your fingers, it stains your teeth, your mouth, it's awful. But the cake looked good. I suppose I'll start in the middle, as I usually do on all projects.